The death of Adam Strain was avoidable. The death of Claire Roberts was avoidable. The death of Rachel Ferguson was avoidable. The evidence given in Banbridge showed conclusively that all three of these children received medical care which fell far below acceptable standards. The death of each child was a direct result of that negligent care. I am going to send the inquiry report to Mrs. Justice Keegan, who is now the head of the coronial service, because I believe that there are lessons to be learned by coroners. And the primary lesson is that they will have to probe more carefully and more deeply when they receive information from hospitals about the care of patients in hospitals. The evidence which we gathered shows that on some occasions, the cases we looked at, some doctors and managers worked against the principles behind inquests rather than with them. It is time that the medical profession and health service managers stopped putting their own reputations and interests first.
What I experienced during this journey is inexcusable. The trust and their lawyers abused their position by trying to cover up the truth. They robbed me of the most precious regard in my life. Rachel was catastrophically failed by Alton McElveen Hospital, where she was subject to a misdiagnosis which led to an unnecessary operation and was further subjected to inadequate care. Rachel was a healthy 9-year-old child who suffered immensely in the last hours of her life through what we know now was neglect of basic care. I cannot comprehend the evidence given by the nurses that something as traumatic as the death of a child, Rachel, they could not recall Rachel, but could clearly recall their tea breaks and their dinner breaks. If that wasn't enough, we've had to endure a lack of compassion, an orchestrated cover-up, perjury, preventing the course of justice, lack of disclosure, denial of liability, defensive culture of closing ranks, all caused by the trust and their lawyers. For hospital medical staff to make a mistake is forgivable. However, to orchestrate a cover-up and to deliberately mislead is totally unforgivable. No family should have to go through the mental and physical stress and hurt and undermining that we are still going through. I would like, in memory of Rachel, the introduction of a statutory duty of candour, Rachel's Law.
Over the last almost 14 years now, getting to today.
We unreservedly apologise to the families of Adam Strain, Claire Roberts, Lucy Crawford, Rachel Ferguson and Conor Mitchell for our many failings. We welcome today's publication of the report and will urgently review the recommendations to ensure that all possible steps have been taken to prevent this from ever happening again. We made mistakes. We were not as open and transparent as we could and should have been, and opportunities to learn from each other and to make our care safer were missed, and for this we are truly sorry. Surely there can be no greater pain for a parent than to lose their child and then to learn that errors occurred which were avoidable. Since these tragic deaths occurred, significant lessons have been learned in how we safely manage fluids in children, and many improvements have been put in place. Although much has been achieved to promote an open and transparent culture, we know that much more still needs to be done, and we are wholly committed to achieving this and welcome the recommendation of a duty of candour. We, as medical directors, on behalf of our trusts, pledge to drive forward the lessons learned as a result of this inquiry.